Yeah, so I flew out. I literally ended stream last Wednesday. I flew out to Idaho that night. Got in late, slept on an air mattress in my dad's office, hung out with my mom and my aunt, my niece and my nephew. My niece, who I think is like 7 or 8, and a very small 7 or 8 at that. I don't know what I did to earn her love, but she's like angling for a pony or something because she spent the entire trip wrapped around me. She jumped on me on site and had me carry her around, and every time I went to pick her up, she'd go boing and jump up into my arms like Tigger. Every time I would join a family function, like a dinner or something like that, she would weave through people and push people out of the way to jump up in Uncle Ryan's arms. And then at one point during my sister's wedding reception, somebody upset her. I don't know if it was probably one of the kids or something said something to upset her, so she literally grabbed a blanket and curled up in my arms and stayed there for about an hour and a half. At one point, while I was up in McCall, she told mom and dad and my sister very loudly that she wanted to stay in my room, so I had an extra bed, so she crashed in my room one night. Yeah, I don't know what I did. That girl likes me very much, and now in turn, I mean, I like my nephew too. My nephew's great, but and it would be weird if he tried to sit in my lap, but um, he and I did bond over his shared love for Eminem, though, which Papa didn't like. And every time Papa would get upset, I would go, "May I have your attention, please?" And my nephew would giggle, and then we would dance. This was the lake that we were on for the wedding. And this is actually a cruise boat that we went on. And they took us all the way up around this bend. There's a whole extra portion of the lake on the other side of this mountain. This is Lake Payette. That's my mom. Um, yeah, Lake Payette is very big and very clear and very pretty. So like I said, there's a bend right here, and then the lake opens up almost this big on the other side of this little choke point. So we spent, I don't know, an hour and a half on this cruise, and inside this area right here was a little bar. So I spent the entire time drinking Buffalo Trace up here, just kind of watching the sunset and taking in the mountains and the water. Um, and these photos somehow managed to make the mountains look way smaller than they are. That's really just about one of the only photographs I got. Other people took some photos, and if I can find them, I'll show them to you. But yeah, that's I got up there. Got my Jack in the Box, got my In and Out. They have In and Outs in Idaho now because of the number of Californians that are moving there. Got Culver's. That was nice. The one big meal I paid for was a meal at this place called The Lively. I found out that Boise is fucking hurting for elevated dining. Are you serious with all this? Come on now. I don't need an AI assistant to read the menu. Um, there's a lot of great places to get like a chili dog. There's a lot of great places to get a burger, but when it comes to like nice places to eat, there's like one James Beard award-winning restaurant, and then after that, there's maybe 6 more that feel kind of like this. So, yeah, we got steak tartare, we got grilled Spanish octopus, which was really good, man. It had this like butter bean and chorizo ragu romesco sauce. So it was like this like tomatoey sausagey butterbean sauce, and then there's a single big grilled octopus tentacle right on top of it, and it was tasty. The Snake River Farms American Wagyu steak tartare was really good too. I almost talked myself into getting the bolognese, but instead I went for the local Angus skirt steak. It was the tiniest little puck of beef, but the duck fat potatoes were good. And then it's just, bottle of wine. which she didn't put on the final menu or the final bill. I pulled out the final bill and was like, this is $100 less than I thought it was going to be. And then I noticed that the wine wasn't on there. And my aunt was just like, whatever, it's her mistake. And I was like, I can't. She was just like, whatever, when I make mistakes at work, people make me pay. I was like, Aunt Tony, I used to be a server. I'm not going to screw this chick out of a $70 bottle of wine. Cave. So I called her back over and said, hey, hun, the wine's not on there. I figured you'd want to fix that. And she's like, oh my God, I would have gotten in so much trouble. Thank you. And I was like, gotcha. How was the trip? Stressful? Stressful? My mom and my dad's sister really hate each other. And my dad's sister was invited, so I was halfway sure she was going to show up and I was going to have to navigate that. Thankfully she didn't. But I mean, you know, without getting too specific, there's just so much drama. So much drama. I didn't really know almost any of my sister's guests because for the last decade I've been living on the East Coast and I don't know any of the people she knows. So I knew like 2 people at the wedding, whereas the last time I knew everybody that was at the wedding. The first wedding that Leah had was like ripped from The Sopranos, where it was like sort of like a black tie affair with a whole bunch of pink flowers everywhere at a You awake now? You fucking awake, chat? The first wedding was this gilded black tie affair at a ballroom in downtown with like tuxedos and suits and shit like that. Chels, love you. This one was like a country western wedding almost, with a whole lot of bottled blondes I didn't know. Lakeside in the mountains with a guitar player singing American folk in the background, basically. Whole lot of cowboy hats and shit kickers. So it was a very different scene than what I'm used to. I was just happy to be in the mountains, man. But, you know, like I said, the aunt and mother thing was just one example of about a dozen different places where there was like snarky friction, snarky passive aggressive friction. And like I said, I'm one of the only people that nobody seems to hate. So everybody wanted to come to me to be like, can you believe that so-and-so blank blah 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 blah? And I'm like, oh my God, really? And then the person they were talking about would come and talk to me about the person who talked about them. Can you believe that so-and-so? I hate her. And I'm like, okay. All right. We're having a good time. Everybody's having a good time. So yeah, that part was exhausting. Being in Boise generally was exhausting. People drive up there. We saw a horrible motorcycle accident after that meal that I was showing you the menu. My mom and my aunt, her sister, were driving back from the restaurant, and I was in the passenger seat with a bottle of wine in me. And these 3 motorcycles zipped past us, crotch rockets. And one guy like went to exit and he just didn't gauge the distance correctly and he clipped the back tire of the guy who was in front of him. And doing like 75 miles an hour, man, they ragdolled. And the 2 bikes went end over end and into the guardrail. Sparks everywhere. Fucking a helmet at one point skittered across the interstate. And that's just like, that just happens all the time out there because it's Idaho and they've got this like wild sense of entitlement. Like, every person out there, more or less, not every person, but like so many people in that area have fucking main character energy where like reality exists to appease them and everybody else are just NPCs. And everybody drives like that. It's like fucking Forza out there. So that was exhausting. And then just the number of like Blue Lives Matter flags and fucking Punisher helmets and Idaho constructed out of assault rifle stickers and shit like that. I was just like, ugh. 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 I'm good. Somebody asked me, like, could you ever see yourself moving back to Boise? And I was like, no, I'd be miserable. I was so happy to rush my happy ass back to a purple state. Yeah, the mitten holding the gun. Yeah. Fucking the sheer number of, like, I mean, my dad's neighbor had a fucking Trump garden flag. And I was like, oh, I gotta get the fuck out of this place. Yeah, Cam Cool, I tried. I told my mom I was there. I was at the wedding to help relieve pressure for her and shoulder burden for her. And then I was also there to make sure that my sister's wedding was as loud, drama free as possible. I feel like his mission accomplished. Solo Wolf, good morning. Yeah. So that's like that kind of like fucking sheltered white entitlement is what I've been bathed in for the last week, and it's been I mostly kept my mouth shut, but I was also like, I went to the gym one day while I was there and was just like, I gotta stay fucking sharp. I was like, at some point I'm gonna get a fucking whiskey in me and I'm gonna say some shit and I may have to defend myself. I did find a gym one day that I was there. The real highlight from the trip was getting to spend time with each individual member of my family, not so much together. And then getting to spend time with my niece and nephew, who are fucking great. They kick ass, man. I love those kids. They're very sweet. Like, they're very, like, nice. Yeah. I liked them because they were related to me, but now that I've spent time around them, like, I really, like, enjoy spending. I'm gonna try to figure out how to get them out to Richmond. And then, like, I guess the bronze medal would actually go to the wedding itself, because it was, like, fun. And I did know one person there that I spent a lot of time talking to. She and her partner actually live down in San Diego, so if I go down there for TwitchCon, I might look them up. But otherwise, like, I didn't know anybody at my sister's wedding, and I was nervous that there was going to be drama that was going to pop off. I met a cousin that I didn't know existed until like 4 or 5 years ago. More like 10 years ago. But I met like a full-grown man, 40-year-old cousin that I didn't know I had a decade ago. Yeah. Like the wedding itself was nice. It was a nice ceremony. I was on pins and needles the whole time. That was like the Lively was the only place it was like the only nice place we went to eat. The reception, the rehearsal dinner was pizza. Good pizza. It's good pizza. All my meals in McCall were at one place called The Den, which was pretty tasty. It was just like a nice diner. And then, the wedding dinner was catered. It was good. It was like a teriyaki chicken and like a wonton soy ginger dressing salad. The worst brisket I've ever had in my life. Maybe it's on the metal stand. Maybe not the worst. The flavor was good, but honestly, my dad snapped plastic cutlery trying to cut it. My mom also snapped the tine off a fork trying to cut it. The fat was nice and melty, but the meat was like, it was like well done steak. The teriyaki chicken was awesome. They had these little half-baked potatoes, or these twice-baked potatoes, where they took the guts out of the potato and mixed it up with like some sort of like creamy pork mixture, and then they put it back inside the potato, and then they hit it with some sort of like spicy aioli over the top. Those were really good too. And then they had these big fuck-off pieces of garlic bread. They were delicious. Yeah, whoever, like the caterer, man, the brisket was a sin. I hate to be critical, but the brisket was a travesty, but everything else was really good. Oh, there was bartender drama. Can you believe that? That shit wasn't on my bingo card. They had rented, like, these two ladies were working in like a trailer that had been converted into like a mobile bar. And no, the bartenders were these two like middle-aged ladies who had this like portable trailer, and towards the end of, not even towards the end, towards the middle of the reception, they loaded up the bar and left. And I was like, where the hell did the bar go? Like, this thing goes on for another 2.5 hours. And my mom was like, oh, the bartenders were pretty pissed off because like 75% of the reception was in between, like literally on this like stretch of like really nice lawn in between the 3 hotels that were all surrounding it where people were staying. So people literally just walked out of their rooms and directly into the venue. But the problem that meant for the bartenders was that the moment that the wedding was over, the more rednecky among us walked into their hotel rooms and brought out coolers filled with like Michelob Light and Coors Light and Bud Light and bottles of like vodka and shit. And the ladies who were working the event were like, "What the fuck, man?" So like I was in the process of I was buying these like overly sweet bourbon drinks that they had that were like drinks from a can. I was buying those from them at like $6 a pop, but apparently I was the only one. And about halfway through the reception, they loaded up and pissed off. And I was like, damn, I did not have bartender drama on my wedding bingo card. Telling Taffy not to talk about food is like telling a fish not to swim. Might that be a breach of contract? Fuck if I know, man. That's like the only drama that I'm not obliged to help deal with, I think. So anyway, more or less, like I'm as tired as when I left. Emotionally, maybe more so. I'm happy to be home. I'm happy to leg out these last few days. Technically, we get through May 30th at this rate, but we'll see. Yeah. Got my eyes dilated. I don't just think I'm cool. Hey, Noah! With $10 to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital on a 2x match from what I'm told is Noah's in-laws. Noah's in-laws have like a $750 match going on. So every dollar you give for at least several hundred more dollars is going to put double time on the clock and double the buckaroos into the pocket of St. Jude. Noah, as long as you're here, I want to make good on the first of the things that I know I can make good for you the things that I owe. The things that I owe. Hold on. I owe you 10 heroes tonight. There you have it. 10 heroes tonight. 10 heroes tonight. Yeah, like, Dave, I said this the other day. I said this the other day, and I was talking specifically about you and a couple of other my friends, where my family members in Idaho were talking to me about like my love of food, and I mentioned to them the plot of the menu, and I said I have a group of friends who love food so much that, oh, I knew it. There we go. I have a group of friends that love food so much that even knowing how the menu ends, that we would still struggle with whether or not we wanted to attend. Sorry, Nate. No, that's me. I pulled the batteries. We're good. We're good. Burning down the house. So much. Damn, chap. You seeing this? Look at this. It's not a bad looking burger, if I do say so myself. I actually made it to where the burger's the right size for this big ass Kaiser roll, and it's got a good char on it. I wasn't gonna have fries, but the fries taste good because I got a little slap your mama on there. I'm gonna grab a ramekin and throw a little buffalo sauce in there. That is my chosen dipping sauce for. Oh, I don't have any buffalo sauce. Huh. Bummer. I guess it's wheel spin time, huh? We owe Noah 5 wheel spins, which I'm not at all disappointed about because Rusty puts together banger after banger each year. That looks right. We owe Noah 5. Get the fuck out of here. This shit's rigged.
Bully Noah.
Noah, are you going to be home tomorrow? Yeah? Okay. Like all day? Okay. Would you do me a favor and send me your address in Discord? Just so I don't have to go find it somewhere else? Okay. I'm such a good friend, I'm not even going to remove it. Alright, that's one of our 5 wheel spins for the regular wheel. Alright, spin number 2. Nordhold.
Nordhold.
What is Nordhold?
That's a big stretch.
Getting weird down here. These little shitters are scary. Scary! Adds extra jumps to the arc tower. Yeah, because we're going to put another one of those down. Yo, Jack, what's going on, friend? I like that. And then honestly...
This is the story of the newest denizen of the cave.
I think we'll put one right there. Noah, thank you for the gifting to Jack. Appreciate you, man. Jack, enjoy the emotes, dude, as always. Do I have anything I want to do back here? Yeah, I gotta level up. Damage. Fire rate. 2 upgrades for my man. We are kinda low-key broke. Celeste, what's going on, friend? Another day of work in the books. I can't quite say the same, but I'm working on it. You can click enemies at their anytime, attributes and abilities. These villains, for example, have barrier that protects them and the enemies from below from attacks. Complete the tutorial? Shut your stupid face hole. Complete the tutorial. I'll tutorial your nuts. What are you talking about, tutorial? You understand how hard this was? Yeah, the moment we click over to June 1, any excess time that's on the clock will get shipped off to the winter subathon. I have a lot of things that I need to be doing that are not the subathon, sad to say. And once the St. Jude Play Live season ends, I'm gonna give it the old axe. But we still have time to sell here. We got about a whole day's worth of time to sell. So, and we got a 2x multiplier going on right now for dono matching thanks to Noah's in-laws. Uh-oh. Well, that's gonna be the end of this run. Game's hard as balls, man. Enhances the spell damage of hero spells. Regularly send workers on missions to earn rewards. Damage of hero spells, please. This game's fun as hell. More lumber. More grain. That was fun. That was like a legitimately fun game once I figured out what the hell was going on. I don't know exactly what to expect with this game. Jonathan. Very cool. Jonathan! Oh, Jonathan! I'm gonna try to get my parents to watch D&D Honor Among Thieves. Oh, shit. We're just in it to win it, huh? Can you fry eggs on top of Mount Everest? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure as the bottom cooks, the top would just freeze. Something to remember next time. After your attempt to escape, the boss stripped you of all your main functions. All you can do now is walk and cook. So make me an egg, cooked on both sides, as always. I thought I had it. I did do it bad. I'll get it. Good. I think this line of work suits you much better. If you want to leave this place properly, you need permission from the Saint of Six Stomachs. So go out into the city, serve all those who seem hungry, and you may just gain an audience with him. You don't have a lot left. Don't cut corners this time. I have my eyes dilated today, you asshole! Yeah, this game's weird as shit. This game's weird as hell. God damn it. Nope. Okay. Nope. Nope. Oh, I almost fucked that up. Alright, let's try this. I almost had it on the first try, and I just, I've lost my ability to, like... Ooh. I've lost my ability to flip the eggs. It should be simple. Easy. Easy. Uh-oh. It's hard. I defy any of you to get this game and download it. You'll spend the first, like, 10... Oh, no! You'll spend the first, like, 10 customers just trying to get the sensitivity right.